Dirty dealings, corporate battles, consumer woes. This is Evening 5. Malaysia's central bank left the benchmark interest rate unchanged as widely expected, citing improving economic activity amid moderate inflation. Bank Negara Malaysia said the overnight policy rate was maintained at 3%, with the latest indicators pointing towards higher economic activity in the first quarter of this year, driven by resilient domestic expenditure and a positive turnaround in exports. Bank Negara said the recovery in exports is expected to gather momentum, supported by the global tech upcycle and continued strength in non-electrical and electronics goods. Tourist arrivals and spending are also set to rise further. Meanwhile, continued employment and wage growth remain supportive of household spending, while investment activity will be propped up by ongoing multi-year projects, implementation of various national master plans, and higher realization of approved investments. It also reiterated the ringgit's weakness does not reflect Malaysia's economic fundamentals and growth prospects, adding that the central bank will continue to manage risks arising from heightened financial market volatility. Home improvement retailer Mr. DIY Group Malaysia reported a 13.4% year-on-year increase in its latest quarterly net profit, thanks to sales from new stores, while margins expanded as supply chain disruption and freight costs eased. Earnings for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2024 stood at 144.88 million ringgit, as revenue climbed 9.2% to 1.14 billion ringgit. Transaction volume rose in tandem by 15.8% to 44.2 million ringgit, as the company continued to strategically expand its store network across its core brands from 1,125 stores in the first quarter of FY 2023 to 1,292 stores as of March 31st, 2024. It declared an interim single-tier dividend of 1 cent per share. Mr. DIY CEO Adrian Ong said the company is confident of its prospects, given the commendable results in the first quarter of FY 2024, and expects these positive results to be further supported by improving consumer sentiment and its role as the customer's go-to retailer for everyday essentials. Its plan this year is to open 180 new stores and surpass its target of 2,000 stores by 2028. Former Finance Minister Tun Daim has failed in his appeal to reinstate his legal challenge against the MACC over its probe into his and his family's finances, which had led to the freezing of their various accounts and the seizure of Ilham Tower in Kuala Lumpur. The Court of Appeal's 3-member bench unanimously dismissed the appeal on the grounds that criminal investigations are not open for judicial review. Judge Dato' Azizah Nawawi said that a judicial review is not the only option for Daim, as he could raise his complaints in the criminal process itself within the trial or file an application to strike out the charges. The panel made no order as to cost. Meanwhile, during a case management for Daim's criminal case at the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court today, Daim had applied for his criminal case to be tried in a separate court from his wife, Tuan Naimah Abdul Khalid. Based on court documents, the reasons for his application was that there could be injustice and prejudice should the same Sessions Court judge hear both their cases. The court set July 4th to hear the transfer application. The Securities Commission Malaysia has nabbed and charged a man previously on the run for 15 years, with abetting the former MD of Multicode Electronics Industries Malaysia to commit securities fraud to the tune of 17.6 million ringgit in 2007. According to the Commission, Daniel Wong Jit Kiang is charged under the Securities Industries Act 1983 with abetting the late Gordon Toh Chun Toh in using 17.5 million ringgit of Multicode Electronics Industries funds for the purchase of over 11 million shares in the MCE Holdings unit by Ace Prelude. If convicted, Wong may be liable to a fine of not less than 1 million ringgit and a jail term of not exceeding 10 years. He claimed trial to the charge. The court denied him bail pending his trial. Wong had been at large since 2009, despite numerous efforts made to locate him, with 2 warrants of arrest issued, one in 2009 and another in 2019. He was arrested at Kuala Lumpur International Airport Terminal 2 upon his return from Singapore yesterday with the assistance of the Interpol, Singapore Police Force's Commercial Affairs Department and Malaysia Airport's Aviation Security. Globetronics Technology saw its net profit jump 73.42% year-on-year in the first quarter of FY 2024, thanks to its foreign exchange gain of 1.8 million ringgit and higher interest income of 1.3 million ringgit. Bottom line stood at 5.72 million ringgit, though revenue slipped 9.7% to 29.9 million ringgit, dragged by lower volume loading of products from some of its customers. On its outlook, the outsourced semiconductor assembly and testing player expects the semiconductor industry to remain challenging due to macroeconomic and geopolitical issues. Globetronics said it has taken measures and will continue to minimize any potential exposures or disruptions arising from these challenges and is actively engaging with potential customers to secure new business going forward. The group added it remains cautiously optimistic and, barring any unforeseen circumstances, expects to achieve satisfactory financial performance this year. Previously, Globetronics announced it is planning to move up the value chain by diversifying into advanced packaging to ride the wave of rising demand for such services. It also expects advanced packaging to be its future revenue growth driver and aims to attain leadership within the segment in this region over the next 5 years.